Alright, welcome back everybody to the final match for tonight here in American Draft Showdown. We've got finals here, winners finals between teams Worse Than Me and Cut Pong. It's going to be two teams that made it through the group stage, both undefeated, 3 wins each for both of them. So this will be the first time that we get to see them match up against each other here, and thankfully for them, this is, of course, the winner's side of the bracket, so whichever team loses this will still be moving forward into the grand finals stage next week, just in the loser's bracket. So this one is going to be for that top 2 podium spot here right now. This is going to be between 2 teams, a team of Birchman for Cup Pong and team of Kagira for Worse Than Me. On Birchman's team, we've got players like Arnold 24x24, Picapone, Eddie, Zucchini, Arek, Priesty, and Flat Paper. Of course, Eddie being the American player, not the Canadian player from times of old. Worse Than Me, we've got Kagira, UFO, Wandario, Ryu Yamada, Insert, Monty, Zex, and Juicy. So these teams will be clashing together here in this week's pool, and the loser of this match will go on to play against the winner of Island Boys versus, what is it, Empicones? So that will be other match that'll be happening tomorrow, but this is going to be an interesting one. We're already getting late with picks and bans. Cut Pong choosing Nomad 5 for their ban. That is going to be the low AR gimmick pick here for this week. Previous week for the group stage, the Nomad 5 was the tapping speed map, so going to be a different style of map. Definitely worth banning, I think, against this Worse Than Me team, who does have some really solid gimmick players on their team. Have to see where Worse Than Me chooses to go with their bans, because overall they looked pretty dominant in their group stage matches. If I can pull those up really quickly, they only dropped 4 points total out of their 3 matches, and those were best of 11s. So they were a very, very dominant team to be able to get that first seed on their group. 3 of those maps were to Island Boys, which is one of those teams that I just mentioned being in the lower side of the bracket so far, but yeah, it was a very, very dominant run from the group stage for Worse Than Me. So we do get to see the first ban from them. It's going to be DT3. That is going to be the speed map for this week, tapping map in the DT slot. On the other side of the bracket, in Group B with Cut Pong, it was actually a lot more difficult for them to be able to secure this first seeded slot. They had to beat one team going to tiebreaker, SPD. Actually, that team, it was very unfortunate. They were the only team that didn't move forward from the group stage for their group, and yet they still went to tiebreaker in every single match. They just unfortunately were not able to win that tiebreaker in any of the matches. But Cut Pong, one match went to tiebreaker, one match went 6-4, and then their final match versus Reunation went 6-1. So yeah, much less dominant performance from them, but still more than deserving of their first seeded spot here for this winner's finals side of the match. You get to see second ban come through from Cut Pong. It's going to be on the Hidden 3. Going to be banning out the more techier hidden pick this week. We await the final ban from Worse Than Me. I do believe double bans are allowed. Actually, they might not be. I have to double check on the forum post. Let me do that really quickly. Double. I do not see anything about it. Ban. Yeah, no ban restrictions from what I can see, so if they do choose to ban more double times, there are other things that they can do. Of course, this double time pool has many maps above AR 10.3. I think the only map below AR 10 is DT2. That is going to be 9.7, I believe. The rest of them are either 10.3 or 10.5. So if they're banning out the hit DT3, then we could potentially see them ban more tapping, which there is just a little bit more tapping in the pool, I think, in the free mod on that free mod 3. If they don't want to see that one, that is going to be high BPM bursts. This is a very long ban phase here. Curious what this final ban is going to be from Worse Than Me. We need to see it very soon, I feel like. And there it is. Free mod 3. Very similar bans to what we saw earlier if you were watching the B stream for that match between Funya Happy and Empicones. I believe Funya Happy had the exact same 2 bans on the DT3 on the free mod 3. Or maybe it's Empicones, actually. Hold on. We can see that in the match results tab. Actually, interestingly, that was the Empicones ban. Also, on the main stream, previously, for Island Boys vs. 3U Nation, Island Boys also banned DT2 and free mod 3. Oh, that was DT2. So, almost the exact same bans in all 3 matches. In 3 being banned out in every single match so far today, which is honestly a little bit of a tragedy, but still don't have full Hard Rock pool available. Then most of all the other pools still left available. First pick is going to be for Worse Than Me, and with these bans into tapping, I imagine they're going to steer away from the mechanics, and they had some more gimmick banned into them, so probably we'll see them choose to go into some of the gimmick maps. Stuff like the Hidden 2, Free Mod 2, even like the DT4 potentially, but that one's different kind of gimmick. Free Mod 4 is very funky as well. It's a very linear aim. Whoa. Okay, I have not heard this remix. That one caught me off guard. A bit of a banger on the lag train, but it's going to be Hard Rock 2. First pick from Worse Than Me. Very interesting first pick. Going to go into the precision map of this week. Hyper precision as well. CS7 with Hard Rock. There's actually not a single CS 6.5 map in the pool, not even in the free mod with the anti-mod on free mod 2. That one's 5.3 no mod, so it's either 5.5 or I think 5.3 goes to like 6.5 or something, 6.6, something like that. Yeah, Hard Rock 2 is precision. Is flow precision, notably. So, not your standard aim when it comes to typical Hard Rock 2s. Now, this is a map from 2021. It's over 5 years ago now. Hard to believe. Time does work mysteriously, as we have nobody in the lobby that we can see, at least. I'm sure some people are probably lobby sitting at the bottom of the multiplayer, but oh, 8 Eddies have entered the lobby. Wait a minute, looks like that's gonna be a issue on our end. We just have to get some OBS scenes fixed for this one. Yeah, here we go. Imagine there's not 8 Eddies or 8 Wondarios. are going to be getting this fixed up. Thank you. Shoutouts to our streamer who we were able to wrangle up very last minute, by the way. They only had like 20 minutes, if even, to set up the stream. So thank you so much to Tay for helping us out with that. Very much appreciate that. Oh, but we're going to get underway here. These are going to be your teams for the first map of this match. Worse Than Me's pick on the Hard Rock 2. Going to be Wendario, Ryu Yamada, UFO, and Juicy. For Worse Than Me on Cup Pong, we've got Pikapone, Eddie, Arnold, 24x24, and Preste. Somebody tell me how to pronounce that, because I unfortunately do not know. Already, a couple of misses coming through here. We've got Wendario and Pikapone trading out. And score is not necessarily dead even, but it should be relatively even here. Pikapone going to be dropping combo once more. We do still have 3 FCs on the side of Cupong versus now 2 FCs for Worse Than Me. Ryu Yamada and UFO both going to be dropping their combos, so that is not good for Worse Than Me. Now it's just Juicy, as Preste does end up dropping their score too, so that will trade out just a little bit. But Juicy falling, that was the last FC for Worse Than Me, and now it's just Wendario on the recovery. So yeah, these 2 combos from Eddie and Arnold are going completely unmatched now, very much more so as Wendario drops his combo, so this is really bad for a first pick from Worse Than Me. So you do have the miss come through from Arnold, 24. I'm just gonna say Arnold, I don't know why I keep trying to say the numbers. But you still have the combo on Eddie. Really good recovery coming through from Pikapone. Oh my gosh, Eddie misses right as I say that though, so it still should be in favor of Cupong by a pretty hefty margin. I'm just doing some quick math. They're probably ahead by almost 200,000 here, is what it looks like to me. Maybe like 140,000 or so. Still, more misses coming through from these players. The flow aim is just being too difficult for them to hold on to the combos. But really good recovery on the side of Cupong. 2 of their players definitely looking to hold further into the final quarter of the map. Pikapone unfortunately can't hold on to the combo, but luckily on the other side for Worse Than Me, there's nobody that is holding on to any form of combo, so Cupong really just doesn't have to worry about anything right now. Tracy does end up dropping, but it's just still going to be very much so heavily in favor of Cupong, I believe. Almost every player above 500k, only 1 player almost at 500k for the side of Worse Than Me. So yeah, this is the point for Cupong. We don't need to see the scoreline. It'll probably fix itself too after the map is finished out. It kind of fades out here on the song. Definitely an older song. You don't really hear that too often anymore. Unless it's like from video game music, which I imagine this was. Yeah, it's gonna be a point on the board for Cupong. Pretty decisive fashion. Juicy with an S rank, 0 miss. Everybody else doing really solid. I think Ryu Yamada was just 4th playered, unfortunately, just really uncomfortable on that CS7 flow aim that is required of the players for this pick. Still though, dropped almost 400,000 points despite having one of the harder times out of any of the players on the map, so really solid despite everything. But yeah, Cupong off to a good start, and I do believe that was Worse Than Me's pick too, so getting the breakpoint to start things off is pretty rough. It's not too bad though, considering that it is best of 13, so first 2-7, excuse me. Yeah, that is an interesting map to first pick and then lose on. But you can't expect all the players on the side of Cupong to have performed the way that they did. But yeah, Hard Rock, definitely not a weakness for Cupong by any means. The other Hard Rocks, a lot more accessible, I believe, for both teams as well. So I wouldn't actually be surprised if we see Cupong choose to go into Hard Rock for their first pick as well. I mean, it's fair game, really. The next closest thing to that Hard Rock 2 in terms of Circle size would be the free mod too. It's like CS 6.6 or something, as I said earlier, if you go hard rock on it. And the way that free mod rules work is you need 3 mods total. So that could be, and it has to be 1 hidden and then 1 hard rock or hidden hard rock. But hidden hard rock counts as 2 mods. So you could have 1 hidden and 1 hidden hard rock, and the other 2 players can choose to go any mod that is hidden hard rock or easy, or they could go just no mod. We're gonna get DT2 here. Rose Quartz. I believe this is could be stamina pick for DT pool. Get some finger control on this one. AR 9.7, a lot more accessible than any of the other DTs in terms of AR. I think 10.3 is, relatively accessible for players of these calibers, but that 10.5 on the DT one is definitely more difficult. I feel like for the majority of players aren't necessarily so comfortable on 10.5 AR, so. Cup Pong starting things off on a strong note. Getting that break point on the Hard Rock 2. They would like to extend the score lead with a consolidation on that break point, but we'll see if they're actually able to do so. DT2 is a little bit of a different beast than the Hard Rock 2. Definitely faster, definitely more finger control heavy. No map. I wonder if Kaguya is playing this, or if they are just lobby sitting. We will see. It looks like a lot of the players are out of the lobby practicing right now, which is fair, especially considering that this is winners finals. So the winner of this match is guaranteed top 2, no matter what. So it is it's going to be hard fought. You would love to make it out of this match in the winner's slot. Losing, you do drop down to the loser's bracket for loser's grands, so that is still top 3 finish, but and you have to claw your way back through bracket reset, and that's always never ideal. Here we go, we've got players in now. Wendario, Zex, UFO, Ryu Yamada for Worse Than Me, Arnold, Birchman, Eddie, and Pikapone on the side of Cup Pong. Actually, relatively similar lineups for the most part. Just a couple of swap-ins for either team. Birchman and Zex both coming in for their teams respectively. I believe everybody else was in for the previous map. Yeah, here we go. Finger-controlled DT2. Pong looking to secure themselves another point on the board off the initial break point. And we've got the scoreboard, everybody. We get to see how not close the match is in real time. So no having to do math in your head. Dario gonna be first to fall. Tell if they were double tapping or if that's just how the song lays out on the hit sounds, but either way, Wendario going to be continuing to find a couple more misses. Ryu Yamada also dropping. Birchman and Eddie on the other side have also found a few breaks in the intro section. It's still 2 FCs to 2 for the time being. Actually 2 to 1. Even see Zex miss in the very intro. Has a good recovery, so it shouldn't matter too much, but yeah, I mean, any more misses for Worse Than Me, and the score lead can really start to get out of control very quickly. Big long streams there. Nobody dropping combo. Everybody holding on to the stamina, but the streams continue to come through. They are quite long. The accuracy, I think, is what's going to be much more difficult to maintain rather than just the comboing. At any point, that you can just double tap these streams, but holding on to the good accuracy is really important. We make it through the streams. Everybody holds on to their combos, so the recoveries are much more in favor of Cup Pong for the time being. They're up about 150,000 points. We reach the halfway mark. There's more finger control. quads into the doubles. Lots of finger control. Arnold's going to be dropping his combo, and Eddie as well. Only Zex on the other side that I saw was one to drop on their combo, so now I believe that there is a little bit of an opening for Worse Than Me to try to get back into it. It's 3 players with pretty solid combos. Arnold going to be dropping as we come out of that pause section. So yeah, this is going to help put a little bit of a stop to the score lead that is gaining for Cup Pong, but with Ryumata dropping the combo going into the stream section once more, I'm not going to be too great for Worse Than Me. You need more breaks from those players on Cup Pong, and right now they're just not giving. Get out of the final stream section, or one of the final stream sections. Combos are still there for 4 of the players. The supporting combos are just looking better on the side of Worse Than Me, actually. No, UFO drops the major FC on Worse Than Me. That was the biggest combo that you needed to hold. That was the chance that they needed to be able to get this breakpoint back, but I think Cup Pong is just going to be able to get it done now. Oh, big app drops from Eddie and Zex. Streams are just so long, but combos are so huge on the side of Cup Pong. Wonderio cannot do it alone. 300,000 points will be the final score line differential here for Cup Pong. They're going to go up 2-0. Very quick fashion. Picapone FC. 1.1 million. Actually, a decent amount of Canadians in this match. I didn't even realize. I'm curious now. I need to go look at this. You've got 4 Canadians for Cup Pong. And 2 Canadians for Worse Than Me. Yeah, Cup Pong comprised of Birchman, Picapone, Zucchini, and Flat Paper. Zucchini a name change? Let me double check on that one. No, that's just Zucchini. And then Canadians for Worse Than Me. Of course, you've got Wonderio and you've got Zex. That is the beauty of this tournament. You've got players from many different countries all playing together on the same team. All mostly in the same time zones. It's like 4 time zones, 4 or 5, I think, across all the different American continents. Yeah, Zucchini, definitely a very solid player. Just had to double check if that was a name change or not. I can't ever remember. It's hard to keep track of all of the players, but yeah, we need to see what the next pick is going to be from Worse Than Me. Oh, mishap on our end. I don't think you can see it on your guys' end, so it should be fine. We're gonna be awaiting this next pick from Worse Than Me. It's gonna be free mod 4. And try to get things rolling here. Put a point on the board. You're down a break point. It's not the end of the world, really. Just gonna be a little bit of an annoyance when it's all said and done, but this is gonna be very uncomfortable linear flow aim. Linear flow. Yes, that is a thing. There is a lot of snapping to this as well. It's just heavy linear aim. And of course, I did run down the free mod rules earlier, but I'll say it again. 3 mods required total, and of those 3 mods, we need at least 1 hidden, and then 1 hard rock or a hidden hard rock. Hidden hard rock does make up 2 mods, so if you have 1 hidden hard rock, then that is 3 out of 3 mods secured. So your other 2 players can either choose to go no mod, or you can over mod potentially. Otherwise, if you go like 1 hidden, 1 hard rock, then you would need an additional mod. And easy is allowed in this tournament. Now, I don't think we're going to be seeing any easies. This map it's quite dense, I imagine, with easy. And there are custom easy multipliers for this map. Looks like it's going to be 2x multiplier. So, I mean, it wouldn't actually be detrimental necessarily, especially if you are a phenomenal easy player, but you do have to be a phenomenal easy player to make it work. And we got players jumping back into the lobby now. There we go. All players in now for both teams. We've got UFO, Insert, Wendario, Ryu Yamada, Zucchini in, Eddie, Birchman, and Arnold for the other side on Cup Pong. Curious to see how the mod lineups go for these two teams. I actually don't know mod preferences for I think any of these players except for Eddie. I know Eddie's like a Hard Rock enjoyer. For the rest of the players, it's a little bit of a question mark for me. We are going to see just very slight overmod on the side of Cup Pong. One additional hidden than is needed, which can be fine. Can definitely work out with that extra score multiplier, especially if you're able to hold on to big combos. That score multiplier really can start to make a big difference versus a no mod, which we do see a no mod on the other side for Worse Than Me. UFO and Wendario going to be on your hiddens. Ryu Yamada on the Hard Rock to match Eddie on the Hard Rock, and then the other two players on hidden. So yeah, this map is just very uncomfortable, awkward, linear aim. Some starts, some stops. Big jump spacings on some patterns, so it can be very easy to miss combos, especially at the very end of the map where the spacings just like really get exacerbated. So far, it's just been UFO really struggling the most here. Actually, I didn't even realize it's been a 4-way reset on the side of Worse Than Me. I was not paying that much attention. All 4 players have found a miss at some point or the other, and there are 3 players still holding on to full combos on Cup Pong, so this is actually looking really, really rough start for Worse Than Me on their second pick. Still though, there's plenty of time left in the map. It's 2.5 minutes long. We are reaching the halfway mark. It's going to be Ryu Yamada once more finding another break. Else dropping into the second PI section. Zucchini will finally trade on that. That was one of the 3 remaining FCs, and Birchman will also fall, but that trades out with Insert, so not great for Worse Than Me. Need to continue to hold on to the combos and just let the misses happen on the other side. Trades are always going to be benefiting the team that is in the lead, and right now Kapung is in the lead by 500,000 and continuing to climb as 2 of the players on their team are still holding on to FCs. We are into the final quarter of the map. I would argue the hardest part of the map. And yeah, the misses just continue to come through on the side of Worse Than Me. It's just not looking good for them. Cup Pong is going to be up 3-0 so far in this match, off of 2 break points to start as well. Arnold and Eddie still holding on to FCs. Good backing scores from their teammates. These scores are just ridiculous from these 2 players, by the way. And overall team score, I mean, they're already over 3 million. Oh no, Arnold does not get the full combo at the very end, misses right before the ending, but Eddie will get it for their team. And that's going to be 3-0. They're going to get a chance to consolidate on this breakpoint once more. And I mean, it was not even close. It was almost 1 million score difference between these 2 teams. I mean, credit where credit's due. Like, you've got 2 players dropping almost 700,000 on UFO and Wendario, and then like really solid backing scores from Insert Ryu Yamada. But yeah, you look across the way over at Cup Pong, and the team score is just like so disgusting. Worse than me, off to a rough start. Down 3 points, 2 of those points being on their own picks. Pong looking pretty dominant so far. Despite having maybe a less dominant run in their own bracket, definitely a more hard-fought run to get their seed 1 on their side. They are still just performing phenomenally tonight. Curious to see where they choose to go next. I mean, they've got a lot of options. No Mod 5 is banned. I was going to say the Hard Rock 2 into the No Mod 5 could have been a potential. I mean, there's still Free Mod 2 if you want to go like anti-mod. No Mod 3 is actually probably a good choice for them. Hidden 1 also being a decent option, with that being more of a dense hidden pick. Oh, they actually do go Hidden 1. Okay, so there we go. Hidden 1 gonna be the 4th pick of this match, 2nd pick from Cup Pong. And they're gonna try to consolidate on a second breakpoint that's been given to them. Up 4-0 is a really tough spot to be in, no matter what the amount of maps are available left after that. Yeah, this is best of 13, so like, yes, they still have to get to 7 points, but if you're given 4 points and you aren't able to get a point on the board in that time, then that is like just really, really hard to bring back. So, I mean, worse than me, of course, would love to see a breakpoint here of their own to start things rolling in their direction. Definitely a team very capable of getting things rolling in their direction, but yeah, it's going to be tough from here on out. They are down 2 of their own picks, and that is just not easy to come back from. Yeah, Hidden 1, as I said, it's almost 200 BPM, 199. It's awkward hidden aim, a little bit dense. They are 9.5, so not too dense. It's actually pretty accessible, even for like non-hidden players. I feel like they shouldn't struggle on this too bad, especially if they are aim players. And so that gives some wiggle room in terms of trying to fill out a roster of 4 players. We've got people coming in now, both sides. Just waiting the 4th. There they are for Worse Than Me. Wendario, Kagiura, Insert, and UFO gonna be your 4 players for Worse Than Me here on this Hidden 1. Cup Pong, we've got Pikapone, Zucchini, Birchman, and Arnold. GLHF's come out. Cup Pong on quite a hot streak so far in this match. They are up 3-0. 2 of those points being break points. This is going to be their 2nd pick here. They're looking to consolidate to make it 4-0. Worse than me, they've got to put a stop to the snowball. I'll say it right now. If they lose this point, it's so hard to bring back. Like it's not impossible, but it is very difficult. We have seen comebacks in this tournament many times. Starting things off here, Arnold gonna be the first to fall. A bit of an unorthodox place to miss, I feel like, in the intro section. Insert gonna be dropping combo about 70 combo after the fact on the 1-2s. It is very awkward, and to be fair, very linear as well, so actually makes a lot of sense coming out of that Free Mod 3 pick, or Free Mod 4, excuse me. Kagiura also gonna be dropping combo, no trades for that one. So we're going to continue to see Cup Pong hold on to the score lead for the time being. Birchman going to be missing. Trades out with Insert. That was a player who had already dropped the combo, so not going to matter too much for Worse Than Me. Or, excuse me, for Cup Pong. Going to matter a bit more for Worse Than Me. Kakiura is still continuing to find more misses. And then Dario going to be dropping the full combo, so now it is just one player on the side of Worse Than Me that it has the full combo. Accuracy-wise, it's looking better for Cup Pong. So he's looking relatively even, but down goes UFO. No, that was the last player for Worse Than Me. And, I mean, we're only a third of the way through the map, but it's already starting to climb. We're over 200,000 points in favor of Cup Pong. Even with that miss from Zucchini, you still have 2 players holding on to massive combos on the side of Cup Pong, and good recovery built up from Birchman. So, I mean, this is just looking like it's going to start to get out of control once more, and Cup Pong, I think, is already starting to be in a spot where this is going to be a 4th point. It can happen still. Birchman and Zucchini continuing to find misses. Recoveries are building up for worse than me. Kaguya is going to drop, though. Insert as well to fall. And Pikapone and Arnold are just not giving, unfortunately. Arnold having missed just off the very, very intro of the map. Seemingly locked in for the latter portion of it. Still half a map remaining. It's almost 400,000 points now in favor of Cup Pong, and about 400,000 points at the halfway mark. I mean, essentially, you have to be having players BFCing in order to bring that back, as well as, you know, the players that are holding onto the combo on the other side, they need to drop. And, yeah, I mean, these players are just so locked in on Cup Pong. Big jumps here on the end section. Final quarter of the map, Zucchini, Birchman, Kagira, UFO, all finding misses, trading out with each other. But it's the other combos that really matter more. And they're just not giving. Opening has come and gone for worse than me. Insert going to be dropping the recovery, and Pikapone and Arnold are just too strong right now. Even with this massive combo coming in from Wandario, it's just not enough. It's not even close to enough, unfortunately. You see another massive score gap here in favor of Cup Pong. You see 800,000? Get too much more than that. 830,000, almost 840,000 in favor of Cup Pong. And I mean, yeah, Pikapone with the FC. This is Pikapone. This is what he's really good at, turns out. So, and then Arnold with the one miss choke right at the very beginning of the map, within less than 100 combo of the map's intro. Missed, and then just didn't miss ever again. So, I mean, still respectable scores. Again, I feel like I have to say this every single time that worse than me doesn't get the point. Like their team scores are not bad. The team scores are just genuinely good. But Cup Pong is just firing on all cylinders. Cup Pong consistently has had 1 or 2 players that are just either FCing or dropping near FCs. And there's not much you can do if nobody is FCing on your team for worse than me. Worse than me. I'd love to see a point on the board for them. They came out of their group guns blazing. They only lost 4 points out of their 3 matches that they played. That was best of 11s. And I think that they have it in them to try to bring this back, but I don't know where they start with. They lost on the Hard Rock 2. They lost on the Fremont 4. So you have to change things up, I feel like. Those are both very gimmick-forward picks. Maybe try something in mechanics? Maybe something like Nomad 2, potentially? But no, we're going to keep going gimmick. Try and make it work here. Hidden 2 is going to be the pick for worse than me. Cup Pong up 4-0. 2 breakpoints, 2 consolidations on those as well. So yeah, I mean, this is tough. This is very, very tough spot to be in. Especially versus a team like this Cup Pong team, which just seem so locked in tonight. But worse than me, they definitely have it in them to get it done. I'd love to see them start contesting some of these more challenging picks. But, I mean, so far, Cup Pong has just looked completely dominant on every single map. There hasn't really been a map that's been very close at all, and that's very unfortunate. Yeah, we've got Mayday. AR8. I believe this is just dense. It's a little aim to it, if I remember. There's like not too much reading, despite it being AR8. says hybrid reading on the sheet, but yeah, I'm just not too familiar with the map personally, so I can't really say just off the top of my head how this map plays. We've got players coming in. Eric, when is it your turn to play? Eric, what team? You're on Cuppong. Bro, what maps do you play, Eric? Get this guy in. What's going on here? I don't know. But we got hidden to. Worse than me, they are struggling to find any opening in Cuppong's strategy here. One Dario Kagiura, UFO insert. This is Birchman, Pikapone, Zucchini, and Arnold. Need to see a stop to this snowball that Cuppong has rolling. It's really starting to turn into a bit of an avalanche. Especially if they do get this breakpoint once more. I fear that it might already be too far gone for worse than me to bring back. It's going to be very, very, very insurmountable. Starting off in this map. You see a lot of back and forths actually. Decent amount of reading. But solid aim control. More than anything is what I'm seeing right now. Arnold going to be dropping combo, as well as Birchman. Hold on. Insert missed like at the very intro, but the recoveries are really there for worse than me on insert. And 3 players to 2 right now is doing a lot of work actually. Almost 100,000 points off of these misses from Arnold and Birchman. Now Kagiura will drop the combo. When Dario also misses, but that's a trade from Pikapone. That was one of the 2 remaining FCs on Cuppong, so now it is essentially 2 FCs to 1. If you ignored the very early miss from insert. And make that 1-to-1 now. UFO gonna be dropping combo, but Zucchini also falling. Hold on. This is the chance that worse than me needed to be able to get back into it. You have combo on one of your players and better recoveries on 2 of your players. So just need to hold on to these combos. Just hold for as long as you possibly can, and they will get this point. Still half the map remaining, though. These little back and forth wiggles patterns are so easy to miss on. Kagiura going to be dropping. No trades anywhere else. Kagiura's not the player that's holding on to the combo. UFO misses going into the second PI section, but still is only traded by Pikapone. 200,000 points, 150,000 points in favor of worse than me for the time being. They're not out of the woods yet. They have to continue to hold on to this combo. Pikapone's still continuing to miss, as well as Birchman and Zucchini. Now it's just the recovery from Arnold doing his best to try to combat insert. If insert misses and Arnold's able to hold, then this could be very bad for worse than me, but they're still holding. We're going into the final third of the map. Players get to see just how close this is. Nerves might actually set in, and insert does miss coming out of that pause section. That is such an unfortunate timing to miss on for insert. Arnold has the combo to bring it back. I don't know if there's enough time though, but the misses continue to come through across multiple players. The whole top side of your screen is finding breaks. Bottom side of your screen locking in for a little bit of combo. Zucchini going to be dropping. Trading happening left and right. Arnold is still holding, and the score lead's really not going back. It's still 200,000 points in favor of worse than me. I think insert might have just done enough, and Arnold can't get it done. Will end up missing right into the very end of the map. This is going to be it for worse than me. They're going to get a point on the board here. Finally on the hidden 2-pick. Worse than me. Proving, even just for a little bit, that they are more than deserving of that first seed spot out of the group stage. Insert getting it done for the team. Very much so needed from them. And again, I mean, it's just a good team score from worse than me. Maybe a little fourth player from Kagiura, but the other 3 players just performing very well. And luckily for them, this time Cuppong did not have any crazy FCs. They did not have anybody dropping like multiple thousand combos. So when that happens and insert is allowed that space that he was with all the players around him missing, then I mean, worse than me is just going to get that point. 1-4 now. And they have essentially put a stop to the snowball. Now, it was on their own pick. They have lost 2 of their own picks so far. But the fact is they have put a stop to Cup Pong, and that is what matters. Drink of water. Stay hydrated, everybody. Actually, I recommend getting something to drink right now. If you don't have anything to drink, it's pretty good time to go grab something. Yeah, 200,000 points was not very decisive. It really just did hinge on that one player being able to hold combo, and that was insert this time around for Worse Than Me. But you can't expect the rest of these to go down the same way. Cup Pong, they've got so many other options that they can choose to do here. They have looked really solid on pretty much everything so far. Even at Hidden 2, they looked like not bad at by any means. So this is a team that can kind of play everything. And DT1 is going to be the 3rd pick from Cup Pong. Now, this is the AR 10.5 map. This is the map that is either you can play it or you are going to be struggling with the high AR. So we will see here. Do we get to see a couple new faces for this one? Maybe some DT specialists. I'm thinking of maybe somebody whose name starts with A and ends with Rec. Potentially see them in here on this pick for Cup Pong, but it's hard to say. Players practicing, as has been the case throughout this entire match. Let's see. I'm gonna go to this person's profile and see if they have a pronunciation. They do not. Hold on. Let's see here. Go to Google and try and figure this out so that I don't mispronounce their name anymore. Okay, so yeah, PlayStation. Potentially? I'm just gonna roll with that. Okay, we've got 4 players in for both sides. One Dario, Juicy, Ryo Yamada, UFO, all in. 4 Worse Than Me, Flat Paper, Arnold, Eddie, and PlayStation, all in on the side of Cup Pong. No Arek Osu, unfortunately. Nuclear Bomb, whatever their username is currently. I don't know. But, yeah, it's DT1. This is AR 10.5. It's AIM, at the very least. There's hardly any bursts in this one. There are a couple bursts, though. So, definitely have to be very comfortable on this approach rate. Yeah, this it's a very, very fast map as well. I believe it's 263 BPM. And with that AR 10.5, definitely compounds a little bit, but players of this caliber can definitely play it decently well. Juicy in is going to be the first to miss. No trades to be seen. No other misses really outside of that initial one from Juicy either, so off to a relatively even start for both teams, and this was so early on. But here we go, first key eye's gonna hit here. PlayStation gonna be the first one to fall on the side of Cup Pong. Nobody trading yet on the side of Worse Than Me, so actually the score lead will start to flicker and go back over the side of Worse Than Me for the time being, even if just a little bit. And Flat Paper also going to be dropping their combo. Whoa, that is a pretty big combo to drop there for Cup Pong. Worse Than Me now has a pretty good opening to go back into this, but now with Juicy and Wandario both dropping their combos, actually that Squirrel Lady is going to quickly go back the way of Cup Pong. It's 2 FCs to 1 right now, Arnold Eddie versus Ryu Yamada. And better recoveries on the side of Cup Pong just because they missed slightly earlier than some of the other combos on the side of Worse Than Me. So actually the Squirrel Lady is going to continue to climb in way of Cup Pong, and we are already halfway through the map. The solo section is so difficult. Triangles catching out multiple players. Flat Paper and Juicy both only 2 to fall on that, actually. Everybody else hit it, so not as many players as I thought it would. Those are the players that I think have been struggling the most out of anyone. And Ryu Yamada drops the combo. That was the last remaining FC on the side of Worse Than Me, and I think that is going to be the nail in the coffin here on this pick from Cup Pong. You still have Eddie and Arnold, and they are just going all in right now. Arnold is going to be dropping that combo. Unfortunate timing. Coming out of that pause section. Maybe he saw the score line. Maybe let nerves get to him. The jumps were difficult, to be fair. I didn't actually see just how he missed, but yeah, this is still going to be the point for Cup Pong. A very decent margin once more. Over 500,000 before Eddie ends up dropping the combo. Unfortunate to not see the FC, but yeah, will be more than enough to get them that score lead of almost 500,000. It drops just a little below that, about 430k. But yeah, Cup Pong now 5 to 1. They've won all of their own picks and 2 of Worse Than Me's picks. So in order for Worse Than Me to get back into this, they need to 1, win on every single one of their own picks, and they have to get 2 breakpoints. They are down 2 breakpoints right now, so not a great spot to be in by any stretch of the term, but you can definitely do it. It's just a matter of where they choose to go for their next picks. To see where Worse Than Me will choose to go. They did win on that hidden 2, but there's some more hidden maps available to them. All the hidden maps have either been picked or banned. Dream 2 is an option, but I feel like I don't know. Maybe not. I was gonna say I feel like maybe Nomad 2 might work out for them, but I have no clue. Maybe something like the Hard Rock 3, actually, could be a decent pick. It is gimmicky enough, and it is in the Hard Rock pool. It's that swing, jazzy style map. It's gonna be Nomad 4, actually. Still continuing down gimmick route for their team. We're gonna go with the slider gimmick here on this Nomad 4. It's actually not even just slider gimmick, it's very much flow tech. A lot of flow patterns to it. Slider streams, spaced slider streams, a lot of cut patterns. It's raw tech. When you think of tech at a high level, this is the kind of map that I think of. Yeah, here we go. Everybody out of the lobby practicing. We just have Monty in for lobby sitting duties for the time being. Got some people coming back in. Actually, I didn't even see insert at the bottom left. They might have been here the whole time. I was unable to see that with my color blindness. That background just does not do me well. Will we see some of these players that we haven't gotten a chance to really see much or any of at all in this matchup? Looking at Arek and Flat Paper to the side of Cup Pong. Worse Than Me, Zex, Monty, both players that we haven't really gotten a chance to see for either team. We do see Monty in. I would imagine that they are going to be in for this one. Rounding out the roster of UFO, Wonderio, and Insert. No Zex, no Arek. Which is fair. Not necessarily their maps, per se, compared to some of their teammates, but yeah, Eddie, Peekapone, Birchman, Arnold going to be the roster lineup for Cup Pong as GLHFs come out. We are going to get into map number 7 now. Worse Than Me, they are backed against the wall right now. Cannot give up any more maps in terms of breakpoints. Cannot really afford to lose on your opponent's picks anymore at this point either. So this is a must-win pick for Worse Than Me. If there ever was a must-win pick, this one definitely is. But yeah, relatively chill intro. If you are missing, you're maybe just misreading a slider. We do get some pretty goofy slider art in the intro. Very tech sliders. But yeah, the real difficulty starts when the Ki hits. And fourth jumps. Here we go. First Ki. Eddie gonna be first to fall on those jumps. Nobody else gonna be dropping as we get into the real meat and potatoes of the map. UFO is gonna be falling shortly into this Ki section. That is gonna keep things relatively stable between these two teams. More misses come through from Worse Than Me. Wonderio going to be dropping combo. No trades to see on the side of Cup Pong. Bertrand and Eddie do finally end up trading on that. So that is going to help even things out, actually. Just barely in favor of Worse Than Me for the time being by about 40,000 points. And Peekapone also missing is actually not great for Cup Pong, as well as Arnold dropping the last remaining FC. So that is really solid for Worse Than Me. They've got good recoveries on both the players that have missed, but they still have the 2 FCs remaining. So this is so much combo that is just going completely uncontested on Cup Pong. It's already 150,000 points in favor of Worse Than Me. Down goes Insert. That was one of those remaining FCs. But you still have Monty in the back pocket and really good recovery from UFO. Being matched almost by Eddie. Monty hits that pattern going into the pause, so all the players will get to see that Worse Than Me is holding on to the score lead, but I mean, Monty is just doing what he can right now. There is kind of a jump scare coming out of the pause, if I remember correctly, so do have to hold on to these combos as best you can. We're getting an act check here from Insert. Let's look across the board. That 99.3 from Insert is by far the highest in the lobby. But, I mean, overall, just really good acts on the side of Worse Than Me. Every player above 98.5%. So just really solid plays so far in this map. People are going to be missing on that slider. Not a great spot to miss on, but he doesn't really have that much combo either, so it's not too big of a deal. You're down about 300,000 points. Insert will miss. Monty is still holding. Going into the second Ki section. It's about as similar difficulty as the first one. It's really going to come down to nerves, though, as we see more misses come through from Birchman and Insert. Still, I mean, the rest of the players are just locked in right now, and yeah, this is way too far gone. Worse Than Me has already gotten the point at this moment. Monty will unfortunately fall. One of the hardest stream patterns in the map. The wiggles just hit too much. The spacing kind of just explodes. still holding on to the combo for as long as that they were able to is so important for them to be able to get this point. 500,000 points in favor of worse than me as UFO is now holding on to the highest combo in the lobby, and it's not even close. This team score once again from worse than me is just disgusting. Still more misses coming through on the side of Cupong, but map's done. 700,000 points and continuing to climb here as UFO is FCing the entirety of the second half of the map. Just a few misses in the intro, and my god, he gets it done with over 700k. 750k. Monty, it was all the Monty show in the beginning, but that score from UFO really crept up and ended up taking the spotlight in the end, so absolutely important that Worse Than Me did not give that point away, and they really made sure that they did not give that point away. Just good acts all around. The lowest act in the lobby is like almost 95%. But the comboing was just so much better on the side of Worse Than Me. You have two S ranks. You have two S ranks, and the most misses that you had was a 5 miss on a player who was like FCing more than half the map. Just throwing that out there. Really, really nicely done from Worse Than Me on their second point, excuse me. But they are still down 3 points. They're down 2 break points here. They need to get back eventually, and preferably starting now, because if Cupong wins on their next pick, then they are at match point. And from then on, Worse Than Me has to win 4 maps in a row to get to tiebreaker, and then tiebreaker as well in order to win the match and stay in winner's bracket, and that's tough. No mod 2 coming through here from Cupong, going back into mechanics for them. 210 BPM, I believe, on this one. Let me double check on that. Yeah, 210 streams. I believe this is it's winter map. And also not a long map either. I know it says like 4 minutes on the site, but it's like less than 3 minutes of dream time because there's like a full minute intro or something, which is kind of funny. And if players do choose to do so, they could actually just let that intro ride. I would prefer if they didn't. I would like a bit of a break on my voice, but we'll see. Whoa, is that the Arek Osu that I spy on my screen here for Cupong? And he's gone. Okay, well. Short-lived. Can we get this guy in for anything? Or does Cupong just not need him for this match? Here we go. We got players finally coming in for both sides. Monty Zex, Wendario UFO, Worse Than Me. Need to see all 4 players in for Cupong. Oh my goodness. Arek Osu in for map. Here we go. This is one of those final players that we hadn't seen yet in the lobby so far. Pikapone, Arek, Arnold, and Birchman in for Cupong. This is going to be map number 8. Worse Than Me. They've got to win this one. They can't let Cupong get to that match point. It's just so hard to bring it back from then. This is Cupong's pick. You have to imagine that they are favored on it. We won't be getting the minute-long intro, thankfully. Shoutouts to Skip Button. Appreciate players all hitting that every once in a while. Yeah, this map's got some aim to it, actually, in the intro. Actually, not that easy, necessarily, to hit the whole intro. It's quite reasonable to find misses on it, but so far nobody's really dropped any combo. Real difficulty of the map comes with the longer streams and the more flow section of the map, which is coming up very, very shortly. But as you can tell, there's a lot of like start and stops to these streams. They'll go and then there'll be an abrupt stop, and then it starts right back up again. So it's very easy to just miss aim at the end of that stream, miss that last note, or miss aim the start of the next stream. But we are getting into the longer streams now. We did see Arek drop combo shortly, a little bit earlier, about 300 combo back. I actually didn't even notice it. Monty going to be trading out eventually later on in that first KI, but everybody else holding on to the combos, so good recoveries built up on Arek that will start to bring that score lead back over the way of Cupong just off the combo advantage. Accuracy-wise, it's really just Arek struggling. Everybody else is about 99%. Birchman dropped down to 98, but 98 is still reasonable. Here we go. More long streams. Next going to be the first to fall on, worse than me. Or second to fall, excuse me. Monty missing earlier on, so now that is 2 FCs, and I was going to say to 2 as Arnold drops their combo. Birchman also falling, and now it's just Peekapom, but Peekapom misses going into that little pause section. That's such a bad spot to miss. That's about halfway through the map. That caps your score up pretty heavily. It happened just a little over halfway, so he'll probably end up with the 650k to 700k. If he FCs the rest of the map, but I mean, that's such a horrible spot to miss. And still with UFO and Wonderio holding onto the combos, this is looking like a great breakpoint opportunity, especially with backing combo from Monty. I didn't even realize was still on that recovery. Accuracy starting to dwindle here and there, but 99.95? Am I reading that properly on Wonderio? What is bro doing? It's like actual just 1x100. It's still coming through with the combo. I mean, we're already over 600,000 points. Like, just put it in the bag, bro. What is that accuracy? I mean, don't even mind UFO still FCing, by the way. Like, can we just take a moment to talk about what is this 1x100 act from Wonderio? Are we so for real right now, bro? No. You cannot get away with this, Wonderio. Somebody check in PC, like right now. That's not okay. But yeah, I mean 2 FCs, right? You still can't discount UFO. Like, yes, that Wonderio score is disgusting, but so is the MC from UFO, 99.09. A very respectable accuracy, mind you. Extremely respectable. Except it's just not a 99.96 1x100. So, like, of course, we're all just going to be looking at that. But yeah, 2 FCs on worse than me to get one of those 2 breakpoints now. And we've got a match on our hands. Albeit a little delayed one, but 3 to 5. Worse than me, they are not out of it. They are still fighting. They're still kicking and screaming. And they've got some stuff to prove here. I think they definitely have a chance. That was Cupong's pick, so breakpoint 1 secured out of 2 required. And now worse than me, they need to try to consolidate on that pick, and I don't know where they consolidate with. We've got Nomad 3, Nomad 1, I believe. Hidden Pool's done. You have Hard Arc 1, Hard Arc 3. Yeah, here we go. DT 4. And then Fremont 1 and Fremont 2. And it's going to be Hard Arc 3. I mean, absolute aura on this pick. This map is very difficult, I feel like, for a Hard Arc map. OWC. Actually, I think this was a Catch World Cup custom song. And then adapted for standard for OWC. One of these previous years. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. Yeah, I mean, this is your swing jazz hard rock pick here. Not much else to say about it. A lot of doubles, a lot of swing rhythms. Also, a decent amount of slider aim, if it's the map in the map set that I'm thinking of. Oh no, it's not Ibel's Waltz. Okay, hold on. I'm not fully familiar with this map, but I would have to imagine that it's a lot of swing doubles. That's kind of how the whole map set goes. Almost every player out of the lobby practicing this one. I imagine lineups are actually going to be big switch-ups here, since we are going into the Hard Rock pool for the first time, I think. Or no, we did see the Hard Rock 2 to start the match off. Did forget about that. Eddie coming in for Cup Pong. Phenomenal Hard Rock player. I believe FC'd on the Hard Rock 2. Actually, let me pull up the MP really quickly, just to get a double check on that one, because it's been so long ago in this match that I do not remember. No, did not FC that. Actually, nobody FC'd that map. Never mind. Just a really good team score from Cup Pong. Oh, GLHS already coming through here. I didn't even realize all the players were in. We got Juicy, we got Insert, UFO, Wandario for Worse Than Me. On the other side, you've got Presteso, Zucchini, Eddie, and Arnold here. So a couple of faces that we haven't seen in a while for Cup Pong. Insert. I don't think we've seen them in a little bit. It's been a minute since we saw them last. Not since the Hidden 3. Or Hidden 1, whichever one, I can't remember. Either way. This map's kind of chill in the intro. Just a lot of doubles. Really focus on the accuracy aspect of it all. Already a couple drops. Just Face Day Show and UFO fall very, very early on, but understandable. Yeah, some slider control here. Face Day Show still having a little bit of a difficult time. Arnold could be dropping combos as well, so that's 2 FCs gone on Cup Pong now. And UFO has recovered as we get into the first KI. One-third pattern catches off Insert. Nobody else on the other side of Cup Pong drops. Juice is going to fall right into the first PI section. So actually the score lead is in favor of Worse Than Me for the time being is going to start to slowly dwindle the way of Cup Pong. It's 2 FCs to 1 and good recovery on UFO, but better recoveries on the helping players from Cup Pong right now, Presteso and Arnold. So this will slowly go back the way of Cup Pong, so long as they can hold on to these combos. Coming out of that KI section, they do all hold. So does every player on Worse Than Me. Insert going to be dropping Zucchini trades. So that's fine. Those were 2 of the players that were on those recoveries. Oh, but that miss from Wandario. That was one of the final FC gone now on Worse Than Me. And it is just 3 big combos versus the 2 on the side of Worse Than Me right now. So the score lead, I don't know how it's still in favor of Worse Than Me. I guess the accuracy difference is just so much better. Big slowdown section. Arnold going to be dropping the combo right going into that. Now it's just Presteso holding on to a little bit of combo. Wandario and Insert continuing to miss. Eddie drops 2. That's the big combo gone from Cup Pong. Didn't even realize Eddie missed. Oh my god, it's a full reset on the side of Worse Than Me. That pattern is just demon, I guess. So we're going into the final quarter of the map. Lots of BPM changes here. Zucchini gonna drop. That was the one player who was holding on to any form of combo. That was kind of the opening that Cup Pong needed to hold on to. unfortunately just not able to do it. No, that was Banjo. Hold on. Wait a minute. Zucchini's still holding onto the combo. Hold a minute. Now, Eddie does drop. So does Arnold. I don't think there's enough time here. That score is just not going to go over fast enough. And Worse Than Me is getting it done. Worse Than Me now 4-5. They have consolidated on the break point. They need one more break point to tie things up. It was looking real rough for Worse Than Me. They were 1-5, and now they are 4-5. So they are still fighting and screaming. They are still doing their damnedest to keep themselves in this match. Just a little while longer. Try to take it to match point. Try to take it to a victory for them. There's still more maps left to be played. At the very least, they have secured themselves at least one more pick of their own. Even if Cup Pong wins on their next pick, Worse Than Me still gets one more. Minimum. No matter what happens, actually, I'm looking at it right now. No matter what happens with this map, Cup Pong still gets 2 more picks total. They get this pick and then 1 more guaranteed. So we'll see exactly how this goes. Yeah, thank you to our streamer. It is 2 a.m. for them. Okay, I appreciate you. Also, for getting this stream set up, like, you guys don't even know like how complicated this is. Maybe you know, but like I was watching Tay try to set this up. He had like 20 minutes to set all of this stream up, and like it did not look easy at all. It looked so complicated and confusing. See this pick come through from Cup Pong. I don't think that there's any timeouts, so they're probably just running the timer for the full extent that they can here in this tournament. And it does make sense. You have just given up 3 maps in a row. You do really want to make sure that your next pick is very decisive, and we are going to see Nomad 3 come through here. I do like how they looked on a lot of the aim control alt maps that we've seen picked so far, so Nomad 3 makes a lot of sense. They can definitely get some good scores on this one, I feel like, but Worse Than Me, they seem to have warmed up here a little bit as we've gotten deeper into the match. They seem to be a lot more decisive with their points that they have been able to get so far, so there is definitely an opening for them to be able to get a break point here on this one. I think out of any of the maps, this is probably their best chance. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. Cup Pong, if they win this, they go to match point. And then it's really on the back of Worse Than Me to try to take it to tiebreaker, but this is kind of the last little bit of cushion that Cup Pong has right now. They're up to one break point. And so long as they just don't give a breakpoint back themselves, they will just end up winning the match. We're going to be getting this one underway very shortly here. Yeah, you get to see the players finally in. UFO insert, Yu Yamada, Wonderio for Worse Than Me. We've got Arnold, Zucchini, Eddie, and PlayStation for Cup Pong. These are going to be your players here for map number 10. We are seemingly trying to go the distance here for Worse Than Me, who was starting off to a very, very rough start. 0-4 at their first point, and then went to 1-5 for getting 3 points in a row. So this is momentum that has continued to stay in favor of worse than me for the time being. Cupong kind of wants to put a stop to that, I imagine. Don't really want to give them a chance at tiebreaker. Just try to close it out as fast as you can. Tiebreaker's always such a scary thing to have to go into. Again, the outcome of this match is winner moves on to winner's grand final, securing themselves 2.